Hello, good day. This is Rosette Qatar, and we do all kinds of sewing tutorials. Even though we've been able to upload just one video, more are coming on the way. We're working on some videos, we're working on editing and all, but once in a while, we want to talk to beginners, and then beginners who are still trying to find their way around fabric, who are still trying to find their way around the sewing machine, who are trying to find their way around a lot of things. So any idea that just drops, since it's easier to actually say this than actually do a screen tutorial video where you have to show everybody everything, we could come up and do this every once in a while. And if you're watching, would please indulge us by subscribing to our channel, and then you hit the notification bell so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you'll be notified. Okay, now back to the business of the day. Now we are dealing with fabrics and their challenges, the most challenging fabrics, and then the how to actually demystify them, because sometimes it's so stressful, especially for beginners. You don't know what to do, you run into all kinds of problems. So now this video is done just so that you don't get to run into such issues. Okay, there are a number of them. Number one, there's a crepe, is the crepe material. There's chiffon, there's net, just net, there's net lace and pearled lace, also stoned lace. There's a bar lining, and there's velvet. Some people call it suede. So though there's a difference between velvet and suede, but some people call it like that. So okay, let's refer to velvet stroke suede. Okay, so starting from crepe. Now crepe is one material that is very slippery. It is very slippery, and then crepe is also one material that stretches. Some of them stretches than others. Like there was one time I made a white gown. That one was really stretchy. I made a red gown with another. It wasn't as stretchy as a white one. So you find them in different their stretching capacity may differ from fabric, from color to color, depending on who you're buying it from and what made it is. Okay, so now crepe is slippery. For that reason, if you want to make a cloth with crepe, wisdom demands that you properly pin as you fold. Once you fold, you pin to be sure the edges are aligned with themselves, and then you press out the other edge. Now, the other edge, when you fold like this, you know this place is the loosed edge. This place is covered, so you press out this place so that it gives you a straight line, and then you properly pin. And then when you're done, please, as you're cutting crepe, cut it with a very sharp scissors, because it's slippery and then it tends to want to mix its way sometimes. And then when you're sewing crepe, use a very sharp needle, because if a needle has a little blunt edge or a little scratch on its surface, it pulls threads in, and then at the end of the day, you have a messy fabric, a messy dress, and then even when you press out, sometimes you stretch it, it doesn't really come out, but it's something that could have been avoided if you use a sharp needle. Okay, that's for crepe. Now going back to chiffon. Now chiffon and crepe, they are alike in a lot of ways, and this is how they are alike. Now chiffon is slippery, crepe is slippery. Chiffon sometimes stretches, like what I'm wearing now is a chiffon. Crepe also sometimes stretches. Sometimes chiffon doesn't even stretch, like this one. It's not even stretchy, either horizontally or vertically. It doesn't stretch. So crepe stretches, chiffon stretches. Okay, but the difference here is for crepe, sometimes chiffon can be very transparent, but in any form crepe comes, it's never transparent. But they are thick. That doesn't mean they are not thick chiffons. So that's the difference. That's why people tend to want to go more with crepe than with chiffon. So whatever applies to crepe applies also to chiffon. And then as it for the ones that are stretchy, which is even more challenging to deal with, than the ones that don't stretch. Please, as you're sewing, don't pull. Just sew at your pace. Don't pull. Sometimes people get their stitch so tight that they want to pull so as to loosen the stitch a bit. You could just go to your stitch regulator and loosen it up from there, because what happens is when you pull, the the machine doesn't even care. The machine is just sewing at its own pace. So when the fabric comes out, everything is dancing and then laying on top of each other. It won't give you a smooth surface at all. So that's for crepe and for chiffon. Now going back to net. Now fabrics are, they all have pores. That's why you can wash them. That's why water, it can enter water and then it can soak in water. Now net also has pores, but the pores in net is wider than every other fabric. So for that reason, it makes it a little more complicated than them. Now here's the complication. Net stretches. Most nets, I'm not saying all, but most nets stretches. Two, net, for those that stretches, if you cut something, if you cut a particular pattern and you stretch it, it gives you something entirely different from what you're trying to do. And then also, you might want to be careful and be very sure when you're sewing net to another fabric or to net. If you're sewing net to net on a tight stitch and you're not sure and you have to loosen, trust me, you're going to tear the net. You're going to mess everything up. And then even if you're sewing it to another fabric and you're not sure, you're also going to mess it up. Because when you lose the net will tear. So most times what I do with my net is whenever I'm attaching it to a fabric and I'm sewing the net, I first of all use a very loose stitch, and then when I'm sure I've gotten what I want, I stitch on it again with a tighter stitch to be sure that I have secured my stitch. So when you're cutting it, you might want to pin properly and press out this other edge, not this edge, this edge. You make sure this edge is safe, then this edge you press it up. And as you're pressing, please make sure the iron is not very hot, because net easily burns out. It easily sticks and get burnt to iron. So that's for net. Now we are going back to suede and velvet. Now velvet is stretchy. Sometimes just horizontally, other times horizontally, vertically. And then when you're cutting velvet, it tends to want to fold in. But you can use your iron to correct that to some extent. And then the other part that is very complicated with suede is the part where you have to fix your zipper, especially invisible zip. To demystify it now is you iron interfacing on it, gum stay to be precise. You can do it soft, but I would prefer strong gum stay, because gum stay doesn't stretch. It is gum stay is gum stay. When you iron it on the area where you want to fix your zipper, and then you're done sew it, you could just tear it off the surface. Now, and then you need to use a sharp scissors, and then also tailoring, normal tailoring chalk doesn't mark very well on velvet, because velvet stretches. And as you're marking, the thing is giving one kind of line and then it's stretching the material. So I prefer going with chalk, like blackboard chalk, the normal chalk that they use in school for us in those days. Because school these days they usually don't use it. They go for marker and whiteboard, and that's the chalk, but that chalk is still in the marker, and that's what I use. Because there was a time I was doing a smoky pattern with velvet. It was giving me this issue, so I had to use chalk, and of course I had to work on it immediately, because that chalk cleans off. So when you're cutting, please use a very sharp scissors, because velvet is designed in such a way that it has hairs on the good side of the fabric. So when you fold in two, if a material you fold it slim, velvet to be, if a cotton is like this, velvet to be something like this, and there won't be space. There's hair on this side, there's hair on this side. So when you cut with the sharp scissors, if you don't cut with the sharp scissors, your scissors won't be able to go through. When you cut with the sharp scissors, make sure you work on it immediately to avoid that folding. You don't want to go through that folding. Now over to nets, pearled lace and stone lace. Now stones, they break needles a lot. The moment needle comes in contact with stones, it breaks it. So the advice is when you've cut your fabric and then you're about making them, please remove the stones in the area where you're going to sew. If not, you're going to run through the tragedy of changing needle upon needle and it to keep breaking. Also with pearls now, pearls is attached on the both face of the fabric. But when you look at the other end where it is attached from, it has a stone that is attaching the pearl to the fabric from the back side. Now, sorry, it has an iron like a metal holding it. It has, I think, four clips to hold the pearl and fix it properly. So it is that metal. If your needle succeed in getting through the pearl, which it doesn't sometimes, if it does, it cannot escape that metal. Metal to metal, your needle will definitely break. So remove your pearls from the area you're going to sew through, and then remove your stone from the area you're going to sew through. And please, it is also net. Do not pull anything net as you are sewing. Do not pull. It is a very big mistake to pull because what comes out of it is not what you bargained for at all. Now, this is the little we have on these materials for now, and then please give us your thoughts in the comment section, and then we'll be giving you a link in our description box of the video of the cowl kaftan gown that we did earlier. Though that video is it's somewhat like a work in progress. I may have to do another tutorial later on the same subject because some of the markings didn't properly come out and it will be difficult for beginners to actually understand what I'm trying to do. So more of these videos are going to keep coming in. God's willing, we'll be dropping like 2 or 3 tutorials on a weekly basis. So just give us your thoughts in the description, sorry, in the comment section, and then we hope to upload a new video. Click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, and then we'll keep this coming more and more. Thank you very much and have a nice day.